So at this point, I was doing the most gigs I'd ever done in all my time doing Kunt and the Gang. I was doing 100 to 150 gigs a year. And a lot of them would be with my adopted sister Lil, like I say, helping out on the door, drawing the cocks on people's hands, and sometimes I'd just be travelling around on my own. Now, the upside of doing all the gigs was whenever I had a new song, I'd play it in front of an audience and you'd be able to see people's reaction firsthand. And sometimes people would be doubled over with laughter, and sometimes people would be wringing their hands with anger, and sometimes people would just look like a little bit of sick had come into their mouth. But it wasn't all fun. The downside was you spent hours and hours, sometimes on your own, in a Ford Fiesta, stuck on the motorways or stuck on the A roads in the dark, and you'd be all curled up like a question mark in that Ford Fiesta, like Phil Collins is nowadays. No one deserves that, do they? Even someone who made a song about homeless people and kept all the money. I spent hours and hours in my Ford Fiesta, and sometimes on my own, sometimes with Lil, and you get stuck in traffic and you'd be fucking knackered and you have to pull over and just have a kip, and sometimes you pull into a lay-by and have a kip, sometimes you pull into services and have a kip, and if you'd had a particularly lucrative night at a gig, you might be able to afford a budget hotel. See where I'm going now, don't you? People think it's a glamorous life, touring with your songs, but after the gig everyone goes home and the nights can seem so long. The pretty girls have all got boyfriends and they all go home to have it off, and I'm left alone in a chain hotel trying to imagine them having it off, and it's then there's no way I can dodge a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge. But a little bit sexy. I start to think of all the lonely salesmen who wanked here before me. They didn't want to pay 10 quid for Wi-Fi, so they just used their 3G. When I'm finished, I'll fill up the tiny little kettle and I'll make a cup of tea. The batteries are held in with electrical tape on the remote for the TV. Sometimes I do it in front of the mirror just to feel like there's someone else there, but all I see is my crying self wanking back at me in despair. The pretty girls have all gone home with all the handsome boys. I just spent 2 quid in a vending machine on a bag of steak McCoys. Now some jizz from my nuts I'll dislodge via the medium of a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge, a lonely wank in a Travelodge.